The toy dropped. The old man bent down, picked it up. Instead of returning it, he pulled out a magnifying glass from his pocket, began examining, then touched it with the tip of his tongue. The mother panicked. "I'm calling the police." The man stayed calm. "Please do. And call an ambulance, too. Your daughter's been playing with this for 6 months, hasn't she? She has symptoms of chronic lead poisoning." How did he know? Because I'm one of the people who got these paints banned. Boston Common Park. Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. The park was filled with families. Sunny September day, first beautiful weekend of fall. Children running, parents chatting, dogs playing. Walter Chen, 72 years old, sat on the same bench every morning. Retired MIT chemical engineering professor, 35 years working on toy safety and toxic substances, consulted for FDA and Consumer Product Safety Commission. On the opposite bench, young mother Jessica Morrison played with her 4-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily held a brightly painted wooden train set. Red locomotive, blue wagons, yellow bridge. Ordered online from China. Very cheap. Walter watched the toy. 40 years of experience, thousands of tests, hundreds of toxic toy cases. And there was something about this toy. The color tone, the brightness, the thickness of paint on the wood. Lily dropped the toy train while running. It rolled to Walter's feet. Walter bent down, picked up the toy. Normally he'd smile, give it back to the child. But his hand stopped. He looked closer. Paint was uneven, poor quality. Magnifying glass always in his pocket. Old habit. He pulled it out, examined. Characteristic bright red pigment in the paint. Lead chromate. Banned in 1978, but some countries still used it. Jessica approached. "Excuse me, that's my daughter's toy." Walter looked up. "Mrs. Morrison, right? I see you coming to the park." "Yes. Can I have the toy?" Walter hesitated. Then, old habit, laboratory reflex, lightly touched the paint with the tip of his tongue. Metallic taste, sweet, lead. Jessica panicked. "What are you doing?" "I'm calling the police." "Please do," said Walter calmly. "And call an ambulance, too." "What?" Walter stood up, looked at Lily. The girl was hiding behind her mother. "Mrs. Morrison, how long has your daughter been playing with this toy?" "That's none of your business." "Stay away." 6 months, right? You bought it in May, online, from Alibaba. Jessica froze. "How?" "Because I tested the same toy set 3 months ago, voluntarily. It came from a parent group. Contains 12,000 parts per million lead. Maximum allowed is 90 parts per million. Jessica's face went white. She looked at Lily. Walter continued. "Does your daughter have symptoms? Lack of concentration, loss of appetite, stomach pains, sleep problems?" Jessica's eyes filled with tears. "All of them. All of them. Doctors said growing pains." Walter pulled out his old ID from his bag. MIT logo. Professor Dr. Walter Chen, Toxicology and Materials Safety. "I did this job for 35 years. Led the campaign to ban lead paints from 1976 to 1982. I know this toy." Jessica pulled out her phone with trembling hands. Called 911. "Emergency. My child may be poisoned. Boston Common Park." "Yes, ambulance, please." Walter approached Lily, slowly, without frightening her. "Lily, can I see your hands?" The little girl tentatively extended them. Walter looked. Slight bluish lines at the nail edges, Burton's lines, classic sign of chronic lead exposure. "Her gums?" he asked Jessica. "Have you noticed dark lines on her gums?" Jessica nodded. "The dentist said she needs cleaning." "Lead line," said Walter. "We need to go to the hospital immediately." The ambulance arrived in 5 minutes. Paramedics took it seriously once Walter explained. "We're taking the child immediately. Mother, you come too." Jessica turned to Walter. "Will you?" Will you come too? Please? Walter nodded. Of course. Boston Children's Hospital, emergency room. Sarah Kim was a pediatric toxicology specialist. She was surprised to see Walter. Professor Chen? I remember you from conferences. Dr. Kim, 4-year-old girl, probable chronic lead exposure, 6 months. Let's do blood tests immediately. Blood was drawn from Lily. While waiting for results, Jessica was crying. How did you notice? She asked Walter. How are you so sure? Walter sat down. 1978. Chicago. 17 children hospitalized. All had used the same Chinese toy set. One died. 3 years old. Timothy. He paused. Since that day, I test every suspicious toy. I'm retired, but the habit? Test results came. Dr. Kim's face was grim. 45 micrograms per deciliter. Normal should be under 5. This is very high. Jessica was sobbing. Will she die? No, said Dr. Kim. It's treatable. We'll start chelation therapy. But whether there's permanent damage, tests will show. 2 days later, Lily was hospitalized. Chelation treatment had started. Walter visited every day. Jessica's husband, Michael, arrived. He was angry. Where did you buy that toy? Online. It was $15. Others were $60. Michael pulled out his FBI badge. Mrs. Morrison, selling these toys is illegal. Where exactly? Jessica showed the website. China-based, Amazon-like site. There are thousands, said Michael. Thousands of children at risk. Walter intervened. I can test them, all of them. I still have lab connections. Michael turned. Who are you? Retired professor. But I used to be CPSC consultant, consumer product safety. Would you help? Officially. Walter nodded. For Timothy, and for Lily, and for others. 1 week later, the news had exploded. Boston Globe. Retired professor spots toxic toy in park. Thousands of children at risk. Walter's old lab at MIT reopened. Volunteer parents brought suspicious toys. First week, 127 toys tested. 31 had high lead content. FDA held emergency meeting. Warning sent to online sales platforms. Lily was recovering. Lead levels dropping. No permanent damage. They were lucky. Caught early. 1 month later. Walter's office was full of toys to be tested. MIT had given him visiting researcher title. Young assistant Emily asked, Professor, why do you still do this? You're retired. Walter held up a toy doll. Its face was painted with lead paint. In 1978, Timothy's mother asked me this question. Why didn't anyone check? I made a promise. Even retired, I'd check every suspicious toy I see. Who's Timothy? Walter pulled out an old photo from the drawer, a small child, holding a toy train. We didn't get to the hospital in time. He was third. Lead poisoning. From his toy. Emily nodded. Lily was lucky. Not luck, said Walter. Experience. And always watching. 3 months later, congressional hearing, Washington, D.C. Walter was on the witness stand. Mr. Chen, how many toxic toys did you find? In 3 months, we tested 1,247 toys. 389 contained lead above safe limits. How are these getting to market? Online sales. No oversight. China, India, Vietnam. Cheap toys. Deadly consequences. The senator continued. Without the Lily Morrison incident, thousands of children would continue being silently poisoned. Solution. Mandatory testing. All imported toys. No exceptions. 6 months later. Lily's law passed Congress. All imported toys subject to mandatory safety testing. Walter was now working full-time. At 72, he'd given up retirement. Special ceremony in Boston Common Park. The mayor was speaking. Dr. Walter Chen didn't just save one child's life. He protected thousands of children. Lily came on stage, fully recovered. She hugged Walter. "Thank you, Uncle Walter." Jessica at the microphone. "This man saved my daughter." But more importantly, he exposed a silent killer, toxic toys in our homes. Walter spoke. "I just did my job. The job I started 40 years ago, protecting children. I couldn't save Timothy, but Lily and others." His voice trembled. "Sometimes there's no such thing as retirement. The duty continues." 1 year later, Walter Chen Toxicology Laboratory opened on MIT campus. Free toy testing, 24/7. On the wall, Timothy's photo with inscription, "Every child deserves to play safely." In memory of Timothy Anderson, 1975 to 1978. On the side wall, drawing by Lily, "To Uncle Walter, who saved my life." And at the lab entrance, the lead detective, Boston Globe's nickname. Walter still went to the park every morning, sat on the same bench, watching children, their toys, colors, brightness, because he knew a moment's attention could save a life. And his promise to Timothy still held. Keep watching. 2025. See DSA report. Lead poisoning cases in children decreased by 73%. Effect of Lily's Law. Walter Chen was nominated for Nobel Peace Prize in 2026 at age 75. Reason: saving millions of children from silent poisoning. He didn't win, didn't care, because the relieved faces of parents coming to the lab every day were the greatest prize. And every night he looked at Timothy's photo and whispered, "I kept my promise, buddy. I kept my promise."